Hey everyone, Mistik here, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at the new event/quest that was released in Graal era in the last 24 hours. The event is the pumpkin event, which at first didn't really make any sense since we're a whole month after Halloween, but you know, Graal Logic. Today we're going to be going over what the quest is, what rewards it gives, and some strategies and tips to completing the quest as easily as possible, but to be honest, there's nothing easy about this event. Let's get into it. So, starting off with what the event actually is, the news description reads that we are tasked to save the crops before the winter weather rolls in. These crops are pumpkins and we need to find and save them. To do this, you will need to roam the map in search of pumpkins on the ground, which spawn similar to that of how trash does. They can spawn in any area, even on top of buildings. Once you find one, all you need to do is grab it and return it to one of the two giant pumpkins. These can be found just north of Dippin' Donuts in Northridge and around the middle of the map in Southridge. Once inside, just approach the pumpkin man in the middle and you will have returned the pumpkin. In return, you will gain points, and I will go over what those points do a little later. For returning a small pumpkin, you will receive 1 point. For a medium, you get 3 points, and although I haven't been able to confirm this yet, for a huge pumpkin, you will gain 10 points. Also, to check how many pumpkin points you do have at the moment, all you need to do is type in show pumpkins and it will show you how many you have, just like how show trash or show mushrooms works already. As for rewards, the pumpkin event actually has a lot of pretty good ones. The rewards are located at the holiday shop instead of the giant pumpkins for some reason. There are 7 hats, 3 toys, a melee, and a gun, and as you guys know, this was music to my ears as I've been asking for guns as rewards from events for a long time. Starting off with the hats, we have the pumpkin beanie, the pumpkin cap, the bloody pumpkin, the pumpkin clips, 2 different styles of farmer hats, and finally the pumpkin hat. Out of all of these though, there's only 2 that I'd be particularly interested in purchasing, and these would be the pumpkin cap and the bloody pumpkin, as the rest are pretty lackluster to me. Each one of these hats are going to cost you 20 pumpkin points a piece. Moving on to the toys, there are 3 and each of them cost 50 pumpkin points. The first of which is the pumpkin wand. All this does is cause a pumpkin from beside you to levitate. Next up is the pumpkin lamp, which again is pretty basic. All it does is spawn a little pumpkin themed lava lamp beside you. Finally is the pumpkin wheelbarrow, which is probably the coolest one. This allows you to spawn a little wheelbarrow with pumpkins in it to take around with you. Contrary to some people's beliefs and my own, this sadly does not give any advantage when you're picking pumpkins during the event. As for the melee, it is pretty simply named the Pumpkin Melee. It deals 8 damage and includes my most hated thing in the entire game, knockback. So yeah, we can assume I'm not going to be buying it. Anyways, it has a pretty basic animation as well as what the description states as a cool special. This animation though really isn't that cool at all. Honestly, for 200 pumpkin points, this really isn't worth buying. Considering how long it actually takes to get these pumpkin points and this pretty awfully basic melee you actually get, I recommend not even taking a second look at it. As for the gun though, it is the AK-47 Origin, and honestly this is where the entire event shines. This is an AK-47 remake that deals 8.5 damage. We can assume this is the normal damage, so it will deal 9.5 damage when perfect. It also has a clip size of 18 and can be worn on your back. Basically, this is a normal AK-47, however with a slight damage and clip size buff. It also has really clean graphics while still keeping that classic AK-47 look. Honestly, I love this gun, however there is one major issue. It costs 2,000 pumpkin points. And when I go over the strategy, we'll understand why this is such an issue. There is also a reward for collecting 5 huge pumpkins, which are extremely rare, and returning them. I've heard a lot of rumors about what this actually might be. Jeff mentioned in his announcement that this was actually going to be a melee, however other reports have said it is a new pumpkin morph. So guys, keep your eyes open to see what this is as more people complete the quest. However, for now I was unable to find anyone who owned it or has footage or a screenshot of it. So as for strategy, this event is pretty simple and pretty aggravating. Pumpkin spawns are a free-for-all just like trash or mushrooms, and they spawn in the same way. This means that any of those popular trashing or shrooming routes will work just fine. The goal is to find an area with a lot of free space and as few people as possible. However, currently a ton of people are out, which makes it almost impossible to find these pumpkins. Not to mention that when you do finally find a pumpkin, if you die, you lose it. This makes collecting points take absolutely forever. Personally, after 30 minutes of grinding out this event, I only amassed 5 points. However, I assume that everyone with the right strategies will have more luck than I did, but the rates are still very low. In my opinion, this event is absolutely awesome. However, the prices of the items, along with how hard the event actually is, has made it just too tedious of a task. Altogether, to earn everything in this event, it will be over 2,490 pumpkin points, equivalent to probably around 1,000 pumpkins. Just to earn the gun itself, you will need to invest probably over 30 hours of game time, and that's just too much to me. The gun will most likely be one of the rarest items in the game when considering quest items when this event ends. As a side note as well, there wasn't any event end date mentioned, so we can assume that this will go away in about a week or two. I honestly love the idea, however next time I'd like to see a little better execution to make these events more accessible to new players who don't know the streets and how to dodge BKers as well as some pros might. Anyways, that's it for me in this video. If you guys learned something or just enjoyed the video in general, please consider leaving a like as it helps me out tremendously. Also, please leave a comment down below about your thoughts on the event. What items do you want, and do you think this event has been fun so far? I'd love to hear it. If you are new to the channel or just haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you do so as I keep everyone up to date on news and updates just like this. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.